To God be the glory in the highest. I greet every one of you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Our subject of discussion today is Jesus, the wisdom of God. Jesus, the wisdom of God. Our text shall be taken from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 24. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 24. I read, "But those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. But those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God." Now, I'm happy to tell you today that Christ is the wisdom of God. Did we have any references in the Bible where Christ himself called himself the wisdom of God? Yes. In Luke chapter 11 verses 49. Luke chapter 11 verses 49. Christ called himself the wisdom of God. Therefore also said, the wisdom of God, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they shall slay and persecute. Christ was the one talking here. He said that he, the wisdom of God, is going to send prophets and apostles, which some of them shall be killed. Does this prophecy came to pass? Yes, because he said, I will. It has not happened. I will send them out. I will send them to the world. I will send them out. And it was fulfilled in Ephesians chapter 4 verses 8 to 11. Ephesians chapter 4 verses 8 to 11. I read, "Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive, and gave gifts unto men." Verse 9. "Now that he ascended, what is it? But that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth." This talks about the resurrection of Christ, how he went below to deliver those ones that are in chains. And in verse 10, he said that he that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. Verse 11 now. This is where what Christ said in Luke chapter 11 verses 49 was fulfilled. Ephesians chapter 4 verses 11. Ephesians chapter 4 verses 11. "And he, Jesus, gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints." You can see what Christ said in Luke chapter 11 verses 49 came to pass in Ephesians chapter 4 verses 11, because the Bible says Jesus Christ gave some apostles, some prophets. It means that Christ has fulfilled what he has said in Luke chapter 11 verses 49. And without any doubt, Jesus is the wisdom of God. Jesus is the wisdom of God. I'm happy to tell you today that God the Father cannot do without Jesus Christ. It is impossible for God the Father to do anything without Jesus Christ. In the book of Proverbs chapter 8 verses 22. Proverbs chapter 8 verses 22. The book of Proverbs chapter 8 talks about wisdom. Wisdom that is talking about there is Jesus Christ. But let's quickly use that verse 28, verse 22. Proverbs chapter 8 verses 22. "The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his ways, before his work of old." Can you see now? The God the Father cannot do anything without Jesus Christ. Before God created anything, he possessed Jesus Christ, the wisdom of God. And that is why in Proverbs chapter 8 verses 22, said, "The Lord possessed me wisdom." Proverbs chapter 8 talks about wisdom of God, which is Jesus Christ. He said, "The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his work of old." Verse 23, "I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was." Can you see? Christ has been set up with God the Father before the earth was formed. Verse 30 now. Let's go to verse 30. Proverbs 8 verse 30. He said, "Then I was by him as one brought up with him." Can you see? Then I was by him as one brought up with him. I was dearly his delight, rejoicing ever before him. This shows us that Jesus Christ and God the Father, they are one. Jesus Christ has been with God from everlasting.